All right now. 60th anniversary. Give yourselves a hand. 60th anniversary kickoff. 60 years of teaching people how to live better lives. 60 years of overcoming. 60 years of breakthrough. Did you see the banners outside when you came up? If you didn't, make sure you look down Ashland, look down 119th Street, and see the legacy being demonstrated all up and down the street. So we're here at this New Thought Revival, and we're teaching this book called The Prospering Power of Prayer. That's just a good title. The Prospering Power of Prayer. And as we get into it and I started to read the book, I said, you know what, I need to take a step back. Because the first thing we need to address is, what is prayer? Because, you know, we have these different conceptions and ideas about what prayer might be. But according to what we teach, prayer is communion with God, right? Right? It's a dialogue, not a monologue. And one of my favorite definitions that I was taught by this woman right over here, Reverend Boyd, taught us in class that prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known. It steps up mental action until man's consciousness synchronizes with the Christ mind. It is the language of spirituality. When developed, it makes man or people the master in the realm of creative ideas. Prayer is more than supplication. It is an affirmation of truth that eternally exists, but which has not come yet into consciousness. So let's take a step back on that. Prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known, which means that there's a regular mind action. Don't miss that. There's a regular way of thinking. There's a regular way of believing. There's a regular way of interacting with the world via consciousness. What prayer does is that it speeds up the vibration of the mind. It elevates the consciousness. It aligns the mind, the thinking with the Christ mind, with the superconscious mind. So therefore we are plugged in, we're hooked up, we are consciously aware of the power that's within us. Then it says when it is developed, say developed. It makes man or people masters. I needed to stop right there. When developed, it makes people masters in the realm of creative ideas. So what that's telling me is this. First of all, it doesn't just come by accident. Nobody strolls into mastery. I want you to get that. You don't just skip and accidentally find yourself in mastery. So if you want to be a master in the realm of creative ideas, then you have to learn how to develop, say develop, your prayer power. Then it says it is an affirmation of truth that eternally exists, which made me say, wait a minute, I'm not praying to make it happen. I'm praying to become aware of what already is. I don't have to make God the source of my supply. God already is. I don't have to make God the health in my body. God already. I don't have to make God the peace in my soul. God already. But am I aware of that? So when I pray, I'm really parking and pulling up the emergency brake. No, I'm keeping my mind right here. Ponder says in the book that prayer can help you experience peace, health, and plenty. Because prayer is man or people's steady effort to know God, and God is the source of all of man's good. So I started to think about words we use in church. You know, we'll say things like prayer life. Now, life is the idea and divine mind of activity. So if I say I have a prayer life, that means there's some activity of prayer happening in my life. We have to stop thinking of prayer as a universal vending machine. I'm hungry right now. Where's my quarters? I'm in a rough spot right now. God, let me pray. And then I go back to doing things my way. So when we start talking about experiencing peace, health, and plenty, I don't know any sane person who doesn't want that. So what we tell people here is that we teach you the techniques that help you develop. Say develop. The ability to tap into what is already inside of you. See, sometimes we don't realize the worth of what we have. See, we're talking about the prospering power of prayer. I'm not going to deal with prayer too much because Rev has that topic. But power is the ability to do, produce, and accomplish. You know? Okay, then let me go with it then. See, he'll change his lesson on me in a heartbeat, as you all know. But power is the idea and divine mind of authority and dominion. It's the ability to do and to produce and accomplish. What does that mean? That means that I inherently have the ability to produce or self-generate something from nothing. We can make no thing something. That's what prayer is really saying it does. Because we talk about, these statements like Reverend Coleman used to say, oh, substance is like a great big piece of dough, and your mind is like a what? Cookie cutter. What she was really saying is you are taking no thing and making something out of it by being definite. Let me move. What is prosperity? Prosperity is the consciousness of God as the abundant, everywhere present resource, unfailing, ready for all who open themselves through it through faith. So when you pray for prosperity, you're not praying for the thing. You're praying for the consciousness that produces the stuff. Because God is the abundant, everywhere present resource. But until we have a mindset, a paradigm, a context that can understand that, we can be all around abundance and not benefit from it. That's why we radically say in the UFBL that we believe that it is God's will. It's not just about us. That is God's will. That every individual on the face of this earth should live a healthy, happy, and prosperous life. We're not selling the fire escape out of hell. We're selling empowerment. We're telling you that if you get in alignment with the truth of who you are, you can have breakthroughs that you can't even imagine. So my chapter talks about, which is the first chapter of the book, the simple, generic, general methods of prayer. So I'm going to surmise all of what's in that chapter in a few words, 5 words. Keep it simple with prayer. You should not have to be a genius to get desired demonstrations. Sometimes we think we have to be super mystics and great metaphysicians and ultra Christians to get a prayer breakthrough. No. What you need is primarily 2 things. Say 2 things. You need intention and method. You need intention and method. What do I mean? Intention is the thing you plan to do or achieve, an aim or purpose. As Les Brown used to say, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit nothing dead on the head. You have to have an intention. So even if you're going in a general direction and you deal with some detours and some bumps, if you know where you're going, it doesn't make a difference how far you get detoured off because you know where you're headed. That's intention. But you need a method. See, many of us don't have a method when it comes to prayer. What do I consistently do to develop my prayer muscles? What's my prayer practices? What's my system? Nothing gets produced properly without having a consistent system. It's the reason why teachers send kids home with certain amounts of homework depending on the lesson. It's the system. You have to have a method. So what we tell people is we give you the method. Come to a class. Come to Sunday service. Show up at the workshops. And we'll give you the methods through which you can tap into your own inner potential and unlimited possibilities. See, we believe that this is a universe that is governed by divine law. Isn't that right? This is why we stand so firm on the principle. We believe without a doubt that thoughts held in mind produce after their own kind. But let me tell you something. As I was praying about this, I remember something that I read, and I didn't have time to put it all together, so I just put it in one sentence. I believe Catherine Ponder wrote in another book, "A sufficient realization can handle and dissolve any problem." A sufficient realization of truth can handle and dissolve any problem. Do I believe that? See, that's the thing. A sufficient realization. See, I could have been going in the wrong direction a long time, maybe my whole life. The illness could have been around for a long time, and the prognosis and the diagnosis could be really what the world calls bad. But a sufficient realization of truth can handle any problem, dissolve any problem, because as Emmett Fox wrote, Christ is Lord over karma. So it doesn't make a difference how much I've been thinking. When I get in contact with who I am, when I decide to touch the hem of the garment like the woman that was sick for 12 years with the issue of blood, then I can know that I can push past my thoughts, crowded thoughts. I can get past my social hang-ups. I can get past the mistakes and what other people did or didn't do. And I can reach on the inside, reach on the inside and say, I don't have to have 5 JCI classes, but if I can just get a sufficient realization of this truth, then I can be healed. You have to know that for yourself, that all you have to do is touch, and the breakthrough comes through. I don't have to know how all of it works. I just want to turn the light on. So as I close, because I think I've now gone over, think about that woman. What it took for her to push through. And if you push through, you'll get your breakthrough. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Stand firm on what you believe. Don't let no one turn you around. And go get your blessing. God bless you.